at 81, and I've been reflecting on the events that shaped me. My opening day was at Caledonian Hospital, a whisper away from Ebbets Field, the home of the Brooklyn Dodgers, the team that broke the color barrier. I loved that team and never understood the bigotry that seems to never go away. Two things worried me as a boy. Would the Russians nuke me to oblivion? Or would I get polio? The Russians didn't, at least not yet. Polio, I didn't get polio, but I spent a lot of my childhood sick in bed with diseases that vaccines now prevent, or would if we all just got vaccinated. I graduated high school and had to decide what to do with my life. I only wanted to play for the Dodgers, but they left town. I needed a job. Mom wanted me to do something worthwhile and something that provided me with security. She wanted me to sell refrigerators at Sears and Roebuck. Sears would always be there, and everyone needed refrigerators. The idea of selling refrigerators left me cold. I was good at math, so I went to work as a trainee teller at a bank. Mom was happy. Banks were secure and respectable. And the job was in Manhattan. My world was expanding. Mom was wrong about Sears, of course. They're gone. As are 8,000 banks, and many bankers did awful things. But she and my dad were wise in important ways. Free of prejudice, unconditionally supportive, they happily sent me off to find my way. I left banking. I felt banking would give me a chance to do something worthwhile, something better than selling cigarettes. But to do what and for whom would it be good for? Deciding what is good is subjective. For decades, savings banks provided long-term low-rate mortgages to home buyers. Then, to fight inflation, the Fed increased rates to 19%, benefited savers, and bankrupted the savings banks. It was good for some, but not for all. Sweeping deregulation and new technology democratized banking, making loans accessible to more people, contributing to a rising middle class. But benefits don't always trickle down equally to everyone. Amidst the turmoil, the bank I worked for was purchased by a man whose family had financed caravans in the Ottoman Empire. He offered me a new perspective on what a bank could do. Soon, I would become president of Safra Bank in Miami. This bank made lots of money, but was it doing worthwhile things? Let's answer through the lens of the Community Reinvestment Act, the CRA. It is unique in that it requires doing something good rather than prohibiting something bad. For decades, banks redlined, denying loans in neighborhoods based on race. CRA was enacted to end redlining. CRA requires banks to define communities they serve and to make available loans that meet their needs. Banks objected, and many tried to undermine its effect by creating convoluted maps excluding minorities. Home ownership was a major aspect of rising middle-class wealth after World War II. Denying credit to residents of Black neighborhoods kept them from participating in the rising prosperity. So how did my bank rate with CRA? Well, we discriminated against everyone in our communities, including minorities. Our lending was to foreign governments for economic development. We helped people, but they lived in Brazil, not in Miami. We failed CRA, so we refocused, we financed affordable housing, mentored and provided credit to minority businesses, and engaged with the local leaders. But more needs to be done. Granting residents of red-line neighborhoods down payments towards the purchase of a new home would be a start to make up the wealth lost from discrimination. and it would be a worthwhile thing to do, and it would make my mom happy. Life is more than work, though. One of the most worthwhile things I did was marry this redhead that creates poetic sculptures and paintings that elevate life. She provided me with a sense of purpose and kids, both unique and wonderful. And to live worthwhile in retirement, I followed Kurt Vonnegut's wisdom. Create art, even if you do it badly. It makes your soul grow. I collaborated with my grandson on Pete the Cat Goes to Mars. We explored the positives of being different and why Martians have buck teeth. I learned a lot. And I did stand-up comedy on living with COVID and living with Trump. They both make you sick. And I performed as a male stripper in a Magic Mike spoof. I got more laughs as a stripper, by the way. But I have not sung since my voice was silenced by trauma of being told to mouth the words at my 8th grade graduation. So tonight, for the first time, I will sing. It is said at the bank the coffee's mighty fine. Well, it's good for cuts and bruises, but tastes like turpentine. They say if you have a need, the bank gives lots of loans, but when you learn the interest rate, you hear a lot of groans. No more banking life for me. Gee, Ma, I want to go home. I want to go home. All right.